Hello guys, Chinsun here. Today I'll be doing a different subreddit. I'll be doing r/IDon'tWorkHereLady. You guys probably heard of it, and the name is pretty self-explanatory. Ahem. I'm calling the owner. There was this little restaurant I go to. It's a nice little pub with really cheap food and really friendly staff. They also have a shuffleboard table, and that's where the story begins. I was on my lunch break from my actual job. I'm a manager, so I usually have to wear nice polos or button-up dress shirts. Anyway, I'm eating my lunch while playing shuffleboard with myself. The bar is being overrun by a bunch of people, and the poor bartender was all on her own. There wasn't any employees helping with the tables out in the dining room. I personally know the bartender, so I come up and ask if she needed any orders taken to any tables. She smiled at me and pointed to the plates that were on the serving tray. "Those go to the table in the corner," she said as she continued making drinks. I nodded and took the tray and made way over to the table and served them. This one lady was called Karen. She had the "I want to talk to your manager" style haircut. Looks at me and scoffs. "Karen, I have never seen it take this fucking long for me to get a goddamn sandwich." Me, "Sorry for that, hun, but she's been really busy at the bar." I say, pointing to my friend. "Karen, I know, and yet you just sit at the shuffleboard table and eat your fucking burger while you let her drown. What kind of manager are you?" I raise a brow before remembering how nicely I'm dressed. Seeing she believed I was a manager here, I replied pretty normally. Me, "Oh, I don't work here, she..." Karen cuts me off. "Don't try to bullshit your way out of this. I've heard enough. I'm calling the owner of this place right now and letting him know how much of a fuckwit you are." At this point, I'm trying to explain how I was trying to help, but she had her phone out and called the guy who owned the pub. Every time I tried to explain this to her, she just flipped me off. I rolled my eyes and just walked back to the bar, telling my friend about the woman. Friend, "Oh, yeah, she's some entitled bitch that comes in here every other day. She keeps complaining and trying to get everyone in trouble. She found out my boss' name and searched his number up in the phone book, so if any of us try to tell her something she doesn't like, she calls the boss. He usually just tells us to let her eat for free and get her to leave. Like I said, I'm a manager, so when I heard that, I could tell that wasn't a good idea. If you give problem customers free things, they're just gonna come back causing more problems expecting it to get them more free things. I go back to playing on the shuffleboard and eating my burger, and I see Karen storming up to me. "Karen, I told him you were sitting here playing shuffleboard instead of helping your employee. He's on his way up here to fire you." Me, "That's gonna be really hard for him to do since I don't work here, you stupid bitch." Karen, she got red in the face, and she reached over and slapped me, now screaming, "How dare you say that to me? I will fuck up your whole life, you waste of filth." Now, I'm a simple man, and I was raised to never hit a woman. But I'm a second-degree black belt in Taekwondo and a first-degree belt in Hapkido. I don't need to hit her to make my point. She goes to slap me again, and I catch her wrist, pulling it in behind her back and kicking out both her feet to bring her to her knees. She couldn't move in this position without pain shooting up her arms and neck. Believe me, I've been locked in this position before. At this point, the whole pub has turned to see the commotion, and my friend has come over to me. "Friend, Jesus, are you okay?" Karen, "Let me go. I am going to get you fucking arrested, and I will sue you so hard you'd be lucky to be living in a cardboard box." I asked my friend if she could get me some zip ties. Once she gets me some, I fashion out some makeshift handcuffs and restrain her. At this point, the owner walks in and sees this. Owner, "Holy shit, what happened?" Karen, "Your stupid manager assaulted me is what happened. I am suing him and you and your business for this." Owner, "He doesn't work for me. He's a regular here, lady." Karen got bright red in the face, but she just sat there and stayed quiet now. I think she realized what kind of trouble she was in. After a few moments, the police arrived and I explained the events that unfolded to both the owner and the police. My friend backed me up on all this, despite Karen trying to deny it. The police officer asked if I wanted to press charge for assault, and I said gladly. She was sent away in a police car and no one has seen her since. Oof. I don't work here, miss. I'm 8 years old. So this happened a few years ago. I was in a clothing store with my 2 cousins, my aunt and my mom. We were walking around and checking out stuff until I saw a ladder where the store owner is supposed to sit, and seeing as he was on break, I decided to sit there and play around with my cousin, by her asking me the price of certain clothing article and me giving her a random number. A few minutes later, my mom, my older cousin, and my aunt told me to watch over my younger cousin while they were to pay. We waited a little bit, then this lady around 40 to 50 years old came up to me and asked me for the price of the dress. I kept staring at her, then I realized that she was talking to me and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, miss, I don't work here. I'm 8 years old." And then she started yelling at me about how I was too tall to be 8 and that I should speak to her with more respect. Note that I was pretty tall for a girl my age, but I still looked young. She kept screaming at me, and I started crying out loud until I saw my older cousin with an employee and my mom. My aunt was still paying for the stuff they bought. My cousin picked me up while I cried, and my mom was about to fight with the lady for making me cry until the employee explained that I was too young to even work there. But the lady didn't want to listen and said, "I saw her giving the price of shirts to this girl," and pointed at my younger cousin who was standing next to her brother. When she said this, he explained how we were cousins and we were just messing around. She then just stood there with her face completely red, then stormed out of the store, just as my aunt finished paying. We never went there again. Sorry if I didn't explain it well enough. I got slapped for not working here. So I live in Austria, and every school in the 9th grade gives us a chance where we are working in a job we applied for 2 weeks just to see how it's going to be in the future. So I work at Merker in the bakery shop. It needed to be said that I am shy and social awkward, and I can be hurt easily. I have noodle arms, and I am 5 foot, so an adult is stronger than me, obviously. Now let's begin. My shift starts at 7:15, and like every other day, I first stock up the shelves with an employee. Let's call her G. G had to look in the back for something, so I continued filling up the shelves. Suddenly, I feel a rough tap on my shoulder. It was a lady, looked like mid-40s. The convo went like this: "Lady, it is very rude to ignore customers," she said with an angry tone. Me? "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't work here, but I can get an actual employee for you." Lady, "Don't lie to me, brat, you have a uniform." Me? "Yeah, they gave it to me." Lady, "Then you must work here. So now, could you look in the back if you have any Diet Coke left?" Me? "I don't know, ma'am. I already said I don't work here." At this point, I walked behind the counter to refill the bread and cakes, etc. The lady walked up to me, went behind the counter, and slapped me on the cheek. She then aggressively asked where my manager was to get me fired. She grabbed my arm and went with me in the back. G was already at the shelves again. Lady, excuse me, this brat won't look for me in the back and lies to me. G, what? Lady, right? Get her fired. G, ma'am, she doesn't work here, but I can help you if you want. Lady, where is the manager? The manager was in the kitchen that was right behind the counter and went up to us. Manager, is there a problem? Lady, yes, this brat won't look for me in the back and lies to me. Manager, she doesn't work here. We told her to get someone when a customer needs help. The lady lets go of my arm, which is a bit red from her grip. The lady slaps me again. Lady, get her fired now. Manager, she doesn't work here. I can't fire her. But let's see in the back what you need. I saw my manager's face and she was annoyed. The manager went with her in and back and gave her what she wanted, but surprisingly, another customer had called the cops for child abuse. I am only 15. She was arrested and I never saw her for the rest of the 2 weeks again. Clearly, I was shaking and shook from what just happened, but my manager told me to shrug it off because people are crazy. She gave me a free day for me to recover. Okay. It's bad that the manager isn't really doing anything about it and that another customer has to butt into the situation. The staff here are well dressed. So I had just got married and we were at the hotel for the reception. They were still preparing the reception room, so we were waiting around the lobby and having a drink in the public bar. This is in the UK, by the way, so I leave my bride for a minute to ask the staff something when I encounter a group of German tourists who have just checked in. Thinking I work there, not sure what gave them the idea, they immediately start asking me where their rooms are. Luckily for them, I happen to speak German and I knew the layout of the hotel, so without missing a beat, I tell them where they need to be. Surprised I can speak German, they thank me profusely and go to their rooms, commenting how well dressed the staff are. Later on, we're still at the bar, and I'm with my bride as the German come down for a drink. They look rather sheepish when their reality dawns on them, still chuckling to myself. I ask the bar staff to get them a drink and raise my glass to them with a wink. We all had a good laugh about it. Edit, this was over 10 years ago, by the way. That will be all from me for today. If you guys like my content, please be sure to like and subscribe. Have a nice rest of the day, guys. See ya!